everybody, welcome to 𝐊.𝐽. I'm Jessica, and today's video is going to be all about our 8th grade middle school morning basket. Now, before I start showing you everything that's inside, I want to kind of start by saying that our morning basket no longer happens in the morning. I have a teenager now, and for the past few years, well, we have embraced the fact that she needs more sleep. And our morning basket, or basket time as we now refer to it, typically happens either over lunch or after lunch in the afternoon. That's just what works for our schedule. But the things that I'm going to show you, you could put in a basket and you could do them at any time with your middle school or teenager, even if it was before bed. Whatever works best for you and your schedule, basket time can be at any point. This is basically just the things that we're going to be doing together on a more regular basis. I kind of have 3 different categories of things. We have things that we will be doing each and every day. We have things that we will kind of loop through, which I am hoping means that we will hit each of them at least once a week. And then we have read-alouds. That is pretty much going to be the flow of our basket time when we sit down together. Typically in the past, our basket time lasts anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. I am still hoping to keep it around that time frame. The things that I will adjust for time will be our read-aloud. So we will read at the end for however long we have left. I don't necessarily time our basket time, like, okay, at an hour we're gonna stop. But Emily is a teenager now, and she has a lot of extracurricular things that happen in the afternoon, which means that we kind of are on a specific time limit. There is a time that we will have to stop so that she can get ready for whatever else she has for the day, like her guitar lessons or her archery or her book clubs. So because of that, my hope is that we will do all of the daily things, hit the loop, and then do our read aloud. And the read aloud will be the thing that we will either read from for 5 minutes or read from for 30 minutes, just depending on what time allows. So that is kind of my plan for our basket time. The things that we are going to be doing every day. Each of these are just like short little snippets of things that I'm hoping are going to eventually lead to rabbit trails or just more things that we may want to deep dive into. The first one I have is a year of positive thinking for teens. This is just short daily motivations to help beat stress, inspire happiness, and achieve your goals. After that, we will do this day in history for kids. We've done a few different versions of this day in history. This one happens to be our favorite. So it just has 4 to 5 different things that happened throughout the years on that specific date. Then we have 5 facts a day science. So each day we will flip to that date and we will read 5 facts about a different topic. What I love is that each day is a topic. So as you can see here, this one on July 2nd would be all about photosynthesis. On July 3rd, it's all about fingerprints. And then on July 4th, it's all about dams. So each day has a different science topic, and we'll be learning 5 different topics on that. I am very excited that it's topic-based and not just like random facts thrown at you. Because Emily is an animal lover and I wanted to make sure there was something she was going to love during our basket time, I decided to add an animal a day. So we will be discovering an amazing new animal for each and every day of the year. I say new, I'm sure most of these will not be new for her, but there will be a little bit of fact, beautiful illustrations, and then some scientific background. And then the last thing that I have daily is poetry. Now, in the past, we've done a lot of different poetry books. Our favorite is from this series. There's Sing a Song of Season, which is nature poems. Tiger's Eyes Burning, I think, which is animal poems. Because a lot of the things that are in our basket this year are a little bit heavier in topic, I wanted to make sure that we still had something really fun and light, because just because she's a teenager doesn't mean she doesn't enjoy laughing, like, because she does. So this is from that same series. It's called A Whale of Time, but that's all supposed to be funny poems. So it still has the same beautiful illustrations we're all used to, but the poems are just a little bit funnier. So each day we will read what I'm hoping is a funny poem. just to, like I said, keep things a little bit lighter. For our loop. Now, these are things, like I said, that I'm hoping we will at least hit once a week. I'm only planning to do one of these each day, and we will just loop through them. So for example, we're done with our daily things, and the first day we are going to do manners. So I have Modern Manners for Teens Volume 1 and Volume 2. There are 52, so if I'm only doing one manner a week, we will probably only get through one of these this year. But I don't know how many we'll do. Sometimes Emily will be like, let's do one. Sometimes she'll be like, let's do 5. So we will see, and I wanted to have both for that purpose. This is really neat. It has like a stand, and it stands up, so you can flip to your manner, talk about it, kind of have more information on the back. It's just a really neat thing. So like here we're talking about saying thank you, and then on the back there are a lot of people in this world who go out of their way to help. Expressing gratitude to them on a regular basis makes them feel appreciated and more willing to help you in the future. A grateful life is a much happier life, so notice the small things people do and say thanks. So this is just kind of, we'll just read, flip, and like I said, we'll see how many we get through, but that way we are working on manners, and we have both Volume 1 and 2 if we need them. Then again, loop. So on the next day, we would do our daily stuff, and then we would hit the next thing, which will be vocabulary. We will be using the new SAT vocabulary workbook for that. We will not be doing this as a workbook. Each lesson is pretty short. It just has like a topic, a few different vocabulary words with the definition, and then this little short activity. The activity is typically, for example, reporters' frames of value dictate which news story they choose to cover. As used in the line above, the word value most nearly means A, price, B, benefit, C, character, or D, belief. And that is exactly what I will do. We will discuss the different terms, the different definitions, the words. I will say it out loud, and then she will just give me the answer. That is how we're going to use this. I mean, it will still be us doing it all, but I'm not going to give it to her with a pencil and say, here, complete this. We're going to do it almost like it's flashcards and just talk about the words, do the activities aloud, and move on. The next day, I'm hoping to do What Do Teens Stand For? A guide to building character. My plan is to do one of the character traits each time we get to this. So that would be hopefully, like I said, once a week. It may be that if we actually hit basket time 5 times a week, which is why we're going to do it as a loop, you'll see I only have 4 loop items. So potentially we could hit one thing twice in a week, but I'm just going to loop through it with the goal of hopefully hitting each one once a week. Some of the traits are leadership, loyalty, peacefulness, problem solving, purpose. My plan is just to read aloud the character trait, and then normally there are some character dilemmas. So it's like working through, like examples out loud, simulations, if you will. There are also activities. I'm not saying we will never do the activities, but that is not my plan for that for this year. My plan is just for us to read through the character traits, talk about the dilemmas, discuss them, and move on. The last thing I have in basket time for our loop is the art of argument, which is going to be us discussing fallacies. My initial plan is that I will only have the teacher's manual in our basket. I do also have the student workbook. I am not planning on having her do that. We're going to do it very similar to like the way we're going to do vocabulary, and I will just read the fallacy to her out loud, and then we will discuss it. So for example, I will just say, instead of her writing the definition for a red herring, I would just say, what is a red herring? And let her tell me what a red herring is. We will just read through it and then discuss it out loud, because that is the way I want to use it this year. Again, we may change that in the future. I may decide that that's not working for us, but that's my plan thus far. The last thing that we will do each and every day is a read aloud. All of our read alouds this year have been selected based off of the fact that our one thing is personal growth and me raising a capable, confident teenager. If you missed that video, I will link it up here for you guys, because I shared the 12 different books that we'll be reading through with that goal in mind. And like I said, as far as the read aloud goes, how much how much we read each day will depend on how much time we have left for the day. So we could potentially read 1 page, we could potentially read 50 pages. I have no rhyme or reason. I mean, I picked 12 books. Would I like to hit one about once a month? Yes, but I also know that all of the books that I picked are not just good for 8th grade. They would be great for 9th or 10th or 11th or even 12th. And if it takes us 4 or 5 years to get through the books that I picked, because we are taking our time and having really good deep discussions about them and implementing the things that we're learning, I'm okay with that. So I don't necessarily have a timeline for them. I just figure we will work through them at our pace. Whatever that is what it'll be. I picked 12 so that I would have 12 on hand, so that I had already done the thinking and knew that that would at least last us a year at minimum, but it will probably last us even longer than that. So that is what is in our morning basket or our afternoon basket, and kind of how we will be doing it this year. If you would like to see it in action, or if there's something you have more questions about, let me know down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them.